Let's talk about presenter search on 3. It is well underway. Of course, we know the countrywide auditions, the initial ones have already taken place, but the show premieres tonight at 7:30 on SABC 3. And of course, everyone will be watching in anticipation of the thousands of presenter hopefuls ready to compete for their spot to be the next face on SABC 3, with Top Billing, Afternoon Express and Expresso being the shows that are up for grabs. And our next two guests are South African TV royalty that know a thing or two about making it in the TV world. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Michael Mole and Jeannie D. This is amazing. Your Royal Highnesses.
Hi.
I feel like
One more time, just do it again.
It's great to have both of you. How are you?
I feel like I should have curtsied.
It's all right. It's all right.
I wouldn't know how to curtsy.
Michael, if I may, starting off with you first. I think I've once heard you say that you didn't see a guidance counsellor at school because you're a presenter, you're a doctor, you're an author, you're a motivational speaker, you are all of these things, and the list just kind of keeps on going on and on and on. So how did presenting make its way into your life? How did you start off?
By accident. It's a funny question you ask because my son's at that stage and I was saying, what do I do with my life, Dad? And I'm thinking, well, I'm not sure what I'm doing with mine. You know, so. But it really happened by accident. Okay? Yeah. So I was studying medicine, wanted to be a doctor, wanted to go into Africa and solve that sort of crisis, and then ended up entering a competition to win a pair of sunglasses, of all things. That competition ended up in me meeting patients. She said, hey, come and do a screen test. I'm going, what's top billing? I stood in front of a camera and I just remember these lights and someone saying action and just panicking, thinking, if only someone would just collapse and have a heart attack, because that I can deal with. But, you know, I don't understand these lights and all these people staring at me in the dark hole of the camera, and messed up completely. My word, look at that.
And there you are.
Look at that hair.
Back in the day, all the wonderful trips you've taken. And Jeannie, your journey started off, correct me if I'm wrong, on radio, right?
Yeah, I started on radio.
And then you went on to television and have reached incredible success. What do you think has been one of the driving forces behind your success?
I always knew what I wanted to do. So I remember watching television.
Don't do this. She's done this before and it's not
No,
funny.
Michael had just started.
As a little girl, I used to watch... Oh, no, it's not true. She wasn't a little girl, was she?
But I really did always want to do this.
Yeah.
So started off in radio, and then Top Billing did an insert on me. Oh goodness! and then patients called me and offered me a position, which was great. And actually, my first link shoot I did with Michael, co-hosting. Yeah. I've never been more nervous in my life. I was the one who was going to drop and have a heart attack. Yeah,
did you have any preconceived ideas of what this life would entail, what presenting would be like, what traveling the world would be like as a presenter before you started? No. And how did the reality of it turn out?
I still don't have a grasp on the reality of it, because it's so much fun and there's a lot of hard work, but it's really the most gratifying thing I've ever done.
I get to play in both worlds. So I would go from being on call at a trauma unit and dash off to some fantastic exotic destination or some beautiful home, and then back to the unit, so you're getting the reality and the grittiness of life here and the kind of surrealism of the Top Billing life on the other side. So it was actually an interesting balance. Yeah.
And I'm thinking about right now about the hopefuls that'll be on the show that have made it thus far, and obviously you're going to be now known to everyone around South Africa. What do you wish you knew then that you know now that would have possibly helped you on possibly further in your career?
Well, I didn't know anything. I mean, you
were just a hopeless case, Michael.
No, I think if there's one bit of advice, it would be don't be another Jeannie, don't be another Cat. Just be yourself.
Be yourself, man.
That happened. I expected that. You know, that had to happen. It was better than the mayonnaise that happened a couple of years ago.
We have stories about that.
Smell, you know.
So just be yourself.
And that sounds really lame and cliched. Be yourself, but it's the whole idea of you're going to have to stand up in front of something or someone or somewhere and express what you're experiencing to an audience that wants to know how you experience that. So if you're somebody else, if you're not yourself, if you can't do that, which is why I often say it's hard for actors to present and presenters to act, because as a presenter you just have to be you, so know who that is.
Jeannie, what about you?
Enjoy the moment, because we are literally in the business of fun, so you've got to enjoy it. Because the more you enjoy it, the more your audience is going to enjoy it.
Queen of fun, that's true. That's that smile.
Other stories we will save for another day. No, I'm kidding. Make sure that you stick with us, because a little bit later on we'll be chatting more things presenter search on 3, but we'll also be sure to catch it as it premieres tonight, 7:30 p.m. right here on SABC 3.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Thursday morning, and thanks so much for joining us, starting the day off with us. And Dr. Michael Mole and Jeannie D, of course, we're talking Presenter Search. The show premieres tonight, 7:30 p.m. on SABC3. And we want to know a bit more about how you can go and impress the judges. And this is exactly... of course, to all of the people that have made it thus far. So, Michael, you were part of the first auditions in PE, and that episode airs tonight. So, how was the talent search? What did you think of the hopefuls that were there?
I was actually very impressed. I mean, I was quite entertained by the not-so-hopefuls. You know, the guys that just came up and just were themselves.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
With someone singing, with someone breakdancing, had a carpet burn. I mean, there was some...
No way!
I mean, it was very, very entertaining. But...
any particular...
That's the guy.
Is this your standout?
No, he was amazing. It was a brother and sister thing. It was just fantastic. So just the personalities, and it was colourful, man. It was really, really great. So kudos to the guys in PE, man.
It's what we want to see on TV. Yeah. And Jeannie, you being now one of the main judges this season, I think everyone wants to know, what is that X factor that you're looking for that grabs your attention and says, this person deserves their spot?
Well, it's just exactly that. It's the X factor. It's that feeling that when somebody walks into a room, you know that that person's got it. Because they've got presence, they've got poise, they've got... They can own the room.
Yeah.
Like when Michael Mole walks into a room, you know about it.
Just play that clip again.
But I have to say, so what happens is hundreds of people or thousands of people audition, and then they get put into these filtered rooms, and then we eventually see the best of the best. And Michael was obviously doing the filter room in PE, and the talent that we got there was by far my favourite throughout the country.
Yeah.
PE was really, really great.
Cape Town did the same as well.
But Jeannie's right. I mean, to walk and talk, that's a given. You need to do that to kind of get in the game.
Yeah.
And then it's what stands out. How do you kind of... Is there charm? Is there humour? Is that intelligence? It's a whole mix.
And a genuine interest in what you're doing.
And not trying too hard. That was the big thing. A lot of people try too hard, and fair enough. I mean, you know, but if you've over-rehearsed and tried too much, it's not natural. You know, so.
It's a pretty difficult thing to explain, because when you say not try too hard, I remember there was one audition in one of the filter rooms I was involved in Cape Town, and you could see that this person really wanted it, but there was something about it that said you're trying too hard, and you're just not yourself in that moment. And it's a...
Because it's a natural moment. I mean,
it's a natural
lights
moment.
And cameras,
this is heartbreaking for me doing this presenter search, because there's some people that really, they're so hungry for it. But something else that I realised that made me feel quite good, TV presenting is really difficult. And I think a lot of people, it looks easy, but until you do it, it's quite hard.
Are you going to be...
I got to say, you're the reason people don't believe anything they see on TV. I mean, who looks like this at 7 o'clock in the morning? I mean, it's just...
Once I take these lashes off, promise you.
Mine too.
No, but speaking about that, I remember I won the sexiest woman in the country or whatever, the U magazine things, and my brother looked at me the next morning and he said, if you were the sexiest woman in this country, I'm emigrating.
Jeannie, are you typically going to
live now?
No, in Boston.
So he's followed through with it. Are you typically the emotional judge in this season? Because I mean, already just saying this is so hard, I can tell that when it gets to crunch time and people start getting eliminated and they've had their hopes high, are you the soft-hearted person?
I'm a softie, and I get very attached. And I feel sorry for people, because I want everybody to do well. I want everyone around me to succeed.
And you also know what it's like to really want it that badly and to want to succeed in it, right? All right. Michael, let me ask you the final question. And if you could summarize sorry, it's a very serious question, Michael, because there's a lot of people watching here that really want to do this presenter search thing. But even those that didn't make it this far...
we used to do this all the time. I remember the leaning forward thing.
Right?
It's a technique, But
well, what would you say is the most important character trait that a presenter needs to have, if there is such a thing?
I think authenticity. Just that you're the real thing, right there. Just this is who I am. What you see is what you get. On camera, off camera, in the street. I was going to say in the shower. I have no idea what you like. That's all wrong. You know what I mean? And again, this is live. We've got to go cut, do it again. I mean, this is one of those. Authenticity.
It's been absolutely great having you guys here. I hope you can stick around. Just lounge around with us for the rest of the show. It's great having your energy here, your presence here. Can you do that? I know you're busy. Can you do that?
Absolutely. At least for another 15 minutes.
We can play Dr. Duck if you want in the meantime.
Listen, go to commercial break. Tune in tonight, 7:30 p.m. on SABC3 Presenter Search on 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Michael Mole, Jeannie D.